happen here, but looks like Stevenage has got a penalty. Hello and welcome back to the Football Rundown. We're back here with another match preview today. It's Stockport County take on Stevenage at Edgeley Park tomorrow evening actually. It's a midweek game, isn't it? And it is of course a 7:45 kickoff. Look, I mean, last day of March into April tomorrow. It's getting warm now. It's really warm in this room as well. A bit of a last minute one, so I appreciate maybe not everyone's going to have a chance to see this before the game tomorrow night. As I say, it was a bit of a late push to get this video out. And talking of late pushes, it was a late push from Burton on Saturday, nearly getting themselves back in the game, of course, with a late goal, which did put us under considerable pressure in those last sort of 10-15 minutes, of course, with that added time as well. But County did get over the line. It was 3 points, job done. Move on to this game now, of course, another game in Edgeley Park, and you know what are we sort of expecting from this game? Burton, we thought, could either be a really, really strong test or it could be an absolute thrashing. In the end, it just seemed to be a bit nervy. I thought it would be a bit of a thrashing, to be honest. I thought, goal in the first 15 minutes, we got that. And I thought, okay, Burton's match plan will be out the window. Floodgates will open for County because spacers will come up and hopefully we'll be clinical in front of goal. And those first 10-15 minutes, probably one of the best starts to a game at County I've had for a very long time. And it just sort of petered out once maybe just after we got the goal, there was another couple of chances, but it did just seem to sort of peter out. And as I say, Burton got themselves a bit back in the game, and it just it was a bit of a disappointment on Saturday because of how well we started. And I think now you sort of come away from the game, you're thinking, was it that we started really well, or is it that Burton started really badly and then they sort of woken up? Probably somewhere in the middle, to be fair. But anyway, we move on now. We've got just a handful of games left in this League One season. The next team in front of us is, of course, Stevenage, who we did face in December, and it wasn't a great game. 2-1, of course, to Stevenage on the day. And hopefully we don't see a repeat of that tomorrow, because I think we've got to get wins under our belt now, because as I say, it is getting serious in this League One table. Of course, playoffs very much a fight for a lot of people in the league, and currently we have a position in the playoffs, but how long is that going to hold on to? Hopefully we will hold on to it, but as I say, we do have to look behind us, and that has been the message for the last few games now. But of course, that win over the weekend against Burton, it was our 19th league win of the season. It was our 12th home win in the league this season. It was also our 5th win at home in 2025. Like I say, it does keep the club 5th in the table, continuing that push for 4th spot. We currently sit 6 points off 3rd and 1 point from 4th, while having a 6 point gap between ourselves and 6th place Reading, who of course have had a lot of issues off the pitch this season. But I think it's fair to say, given everything's going on behind the scenes, they've done very well to stay competitive in League One this season. And I wouldn't want to wish us, being pushed out of the playoffs by anyone. But if Reading managed to get themselves in the playoffs, fair play to them, because no football club deserves to have what is currently going on to them at this point in time. But I just want to sort of bring it to your attention. Obviously, playoffs, we're all sort of vying for that at this point in time, and I think it's only natural that we're starting to look at playoff dates, I suppose. Like, well, what sort of day would we be looking to play on if we get into the playoffs? And that all depends, of course, on where we finish. And from what I've seen, the first leg of the League One playoffs will take place on the Saturday, the 10th of May, and Sunday. Both Saturday, 10th of May. League One, if you finish 3rd or 4th, you will play away on that weekend, either a 12:30 kickoff or a 7:45 kickoff. So not ideal, I suppose, if you are the away team. But I tell you what, I'd rather be an away team on a weekend game than be an away team in a midweek game. So if you finish 3rd or 4th in League One, you will play away from home for the first leg on Saturday the 10th of May at either 12:30 or 7:45. Now going over to the second leg, if you finish third or fourth, you will play on either Wednesday or Thursday, the 14th or 15th of May at 8 o'clock. So obviously you'd be back at home. More likely that home fans can get to an evening game at home than an evening game away from home. Whereas if you finish 5th or 6th, where we're currently 5th, as it stands at the moment, in the playoffs, we would be playing the deciding leg away from home on a Thursday night. So make your own mind up. Let me know in the comment section what your preference would be. But now I really do see the benefit of finishing 4th or 3rd over 5th and 6th. I mean, obviously that was just a little bit of playoff discussion. Some people might say it's too soon to be looking into it, but it's just something I was thinking about over the weekend after we beat Burton. And I just looked at that and thought, I definitely don't want to be doing a midweek away game. It's not ideal. You never get the same sort of atmosphere as you do, for the away game on a weekend. So I just want to get people's thoughts on that. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about Stevenage. They come into this fixture, of course. They beat us 2-1 back in December. They've picked up 6 wins in the league since then. They were 14th in the table before taking on the Hatters last time out. They now sit 13th in the table. 13 points from the playoffs, 13 points from the relegation zone. With 8 games left for Alex Revell's side, you'd think they're not really going to move much further up or down the table at this point in time. As I said, they're currently 22 points off what they gained last season as well, as they finished 9th in League One. Jamie Reid scored scored the winner from the penalty spot in our last meeting, and was also Borough's top scorer last season with 18 goals in League One. That will likely not be the case this season, as former MK Dons midfielder Dan Kemp, who scored the first against us in that game, is currently leading the goal scorers charts for Stevenage this season with 9 league goals. Dan Kemp has also scored in his last 2 outings against the Hatters. Now, those of you who watched the preview for the Burton game will know that I obviously did a little bit of a segment on Cal Wootton and his difficult bit of form of late. Obviously spoke about the fact that he'd only scored 1 in his last 23 games. And then what does he go and do at the weekend? He goes and scores the opening goal. So scoring that opening goal at the weekend, obviously it's his first, and scoring in a 1-0 win over Leyton Orient. It's now 2 in his last 24 matches. And just as you start to think, okay, he's got a goal now, this is what we've all been wanting for him, he actually played really well as well in that first half. I think I did see him sort of try and bring others into the game a bit more. And I felt, to be fair, once he got that goal, I think his confidence went up as well. But for whatever reason, just when you think he might be getting going again, it gets taken off at half-time. Fraser Horsfall comes on. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on with Wootton there. Maybe it's injury-related. I don't remember Dave Chalmers talking about it post-match. So if there is an injury problem there, it's not great timing, because he just got a goal. His confidence might have just gone and taken a spring up, and then he's obviously seems to have picked up maybe an injury, I suppose. Or maybe he's just looked to change it at half-time and try and play a back three, maybe to deal with the threats that Dave Chalmers felt that Burton were throwing towards us. Who knows? But it didn't look great when Wootton goes off at half-time. I didn't see anything to suggest he picked up an injury. So maybe it was tactical, but as I say, it would be something to keep an eye on in terms of team news later on. So as I mentioned, Fraser Horsfall came in at half-time. Surprise substitution, I think, by many. But he obviously got his first minutes under his belt of 2025, obviously getting injured against Rotherham back end of last year. And it was great to see him come on. I think he initially looked quite shaky, as you'd imagine he would do, having missed 3 or 4 months. But I think he ended the game fairly well. He didn't seem to do too much wrong, so I think that's the best you can hope for when a player gets his first set of minutes after that long being out injured, particularly as a defender as well. It's hard to really ease yourself back into the game, so I thought he did okay. What does it mean for him getting back in the starting 11 anytime soon? I'm not too sure. Obviously, Nick Powell as well, another player which got his first couple of minutes under his belt, roughly 25 minutes in his legs. He hadn't featured since coming off in the first half against Lincoln back in late October. So 2 long-term misses there back in the the matchday squad, back on the pitch, I suppose, in that second half against Burton, which could be important for us. We've lost a couple of players recently, a couple of injuries, a couple of suspensions as well. Obviously, some players went out on loan in January, so we need all the bodies we can get available for the matchday squad in this sort of last push, last sort of run in obviously the League One fixtures before the playoffs. Brad Hills was, of course, sent off last week after being shown 2 yellow cards. We saw similar events unfold at Edgeley Park on Saturday, as Ethan Pye was also sent off after picking up 2 yellow cards. But more importantly than that, he did seem to sort of hobble off the pitch. He was actually down on the floor, I think, when he got the second yellow. So he seemed to have a bit of a knock, seemed to come off awkwardly. So hopefully, as I said in the end of the vlog, there's not an injury there which would prevent him from coming back once he's served his suspension, which I'd imagine should only be one game. So that means Brad Hills will be back from his, which I suppose if you're going to lose a centre-back to a suspension, it's ideal that you've got another one coming back from a suspension for the game that he'll miss, if that sort of makes sense. So whilst it's great news that Brad Hills will be back, it's disappointing that Ethan Pye obviously is now going to miss the game as well. Also, I think he's going to be a huge miss for us. I think Ethan Pye's probably been our best player this season. He's a huge miss when we do, when he's not in the side. I think it was Cambridge a couple of weeks ago. He missed the game through illness. I think Brad Hills ended up getting put left centre back. I didn't watch the game, I wasn't there, but from listening to people who were there, I think Pye ended up playing left centre back Hills ended up playing left centre back in that game, and he had a really good 2 or 3 games before that. But that was it was described to me as one of his worst performances, and certainly his worst at that point in a county shirt. So the suggestion is maybe he could come in and play in that left centre back role. But the thing is, the left centre back role is such a specific role. Having a left footer on that side of the pitch, in that area of the pitch, it's irreplaceable really. And I think that whilst Hills, Connolly, Horsford, they might all be very solid centre backs, but it's completely different playing on the left when you're a right footer. And I think we'll really struggle to find a replacement for that, even in the game against Stevenage tomorrow night, because it doesn't matter who we're playing, we've got to get the win. And as we saw on Saturday against Burton, it doesn't matter where team is in the table, they all pose threats and they all can make it difficult for you. And Ethan Pye he's a very important player for us, and we do struggle when he's not in the side. I think he missed 11 league matches last season. Correct me if I'm wrong. We won only 4 of those matches without him. So this season we've won just once without him, I think, in the league. That was the Bolton 5-0 win though. So obviously we spoke about how difficult it could be without Ethan Pye in the side. I also think this game is going to be really, really difficult anyway, and I think the first goal will be really important in this game. I know it sounds a little bit obvious, but looking at it, Stevenage, I don't think they've lost the game when leading all season, but also they've only won one when falling behind this season. They've fallen behind 17 times in the league this season, losing on 15 occasions. County obviously need to win. I spoke about the importance of that. Reading still have a game in hand behind us in the table, as do Huddersfield, Bolton and Leyton Orient. And I think failure to secure 3 points could see Reading potentially level us on points with level games played if they win their game in hand and also win this game, and obviously we were to lose it. So I think that pressure is there. We were looking comfortable in the playoffs for a period of time. That's now gone, so I think we are starting to feel a little bit of pressure. We've dropped a couple of points. I think sort of Charlton could look at it as a point gained or 2 points dropped. Bristol, Northampton, games like that recently, and obviously losing to Wrexham, we could have done with getting a point out of that game really. So we have dropped points recently, and possibly we shouldn't have done in some of them. And that has meant that we've probably lost that ability to be a bit more comfortable in the playoff race. Obviously, look at Wickham, Wrexham. They pretty much know at worst they're going to be in the playoffs, but at best they're still fighting for second place. So, had we corrected those results and won the games and not dropped the points that we shouldn't have dropped, then I think we'd be a bit more comfortable as well. But it's just one of those things, isn't it? Like I say as well, I was confident against Burton. I went with a 4-0 prediction, which is quite a confident one. But I think after such a poor showing, I'm going to have to be a little bit more realistic when it comes to my match prediction. Okay, we're going to go into the predicted 11 now, of course. Formation's going to be an interesting one. We've gone with a 3 at the back a lot this season, but we have seen the 4-2-2 come in a little bit, and I think we saw a similar thing on Saturday as well. Looked like he almost had the 2 sort of 10s almost. Fevrier was almost... We thought he was going to play on the right wing to start with, but as the game went on, you saw he was playing in that sort of 10 position. Collar was also playing on the sort of left 10 position. I think we'll see a similar thing as well in this game tomorrow night. I think maybe Wrexham we matched the back 3, but I think we went back to a 4 at the back on Saturday, and I think that Stevenage play a 4-2-3-1 the sort of majority of the time. So I think we'll see a similar thing come into play on tomorrow night. I think we'll see a 4-2-2. Adai in goal, Noyle, Connolly, Hills, Ibi Toure, Norwood, Bate, Fevrier and Collar as those sort of 2 10s. Because of Wotton going off, and my mind thinks it could be injury related, I do think he'll actually start Benoni, Brecky Anderson alongside Tanto Alafi, which I think would be interesting. Then of course we go into my predicted 11. I'd like to just play a 4-2-3-1. We know it now. Anyone who watches these on a regular basis will know every game I'm saying I want to see a 4-2-3-1, and we never seem to do it. But my 4-2-3-1 would be Adai, of course, in goal. It's a little bit unorthodox because of the injury to Ethan Pye, so I've gone with Brad Hills at right back, Connolly, and then Ibi Toure as like left centre back of a two, and then Noyle at left back, which is a bit interesting, a little bit all over the place. I just think that we really struggle with Ethan Pye, and I said before about how difficult it is to replace that position when he's not available. So it is a little bit unorthodox, it is a little bit out there, but that might be the best way to deal. We're still maintaining that left-footed centre-back role with Ibi Toure, and Noyle a little bit out of position, but it's better to put him out of position, who's a bit more experienced, and then allow Hills to go at right back. He does go very wide when he plays in that centre-back role at times as well, so it wouldn't be unusual for him to be in that kind of position on the pitch. I want to get people's thoughts on that. As I say, it is very out there. I'll probably have a lot of criticism for saying it, but it was just a bit of an out there suggestion, trying to think about how we can deal in the absence of Ethan Pye. Then we've gone with Norwood and Lewis Bate, of course, as the two central midfielders. Fevre on the right, Nick Powell behind the striker, Tanto on the left, and of course Benoni, Brecky Anderson down the middle. I really want to see him get back involved. It feels like he's not played for ages. I know he came on against Burton, but the game was, there wasn't a lot of chances being created at that point in time, and obviously we didn't see him against Wrexham. So it feels like ages since I've actually been able to see him get involved in a game, and as I say, I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing him get some minutes at least tomorrow. But in my preference would be to start him. So there we go. That is my thoughts then on Stockport County against Stevenage tomorrow night. It is available on Sky if you're not going. I'm not going to the game, to be fair. I'm sitting this one out, but I will be going live before the game, so keep an eye out for that on the channel. I'll also be going live post match as well. Where I'll be reacting to the score, where hopefully County, of course, picks up all 3 points. We've really got to pick up all 3 points. In terms of score prediction as well, like I say, I'm going to be a little bit more realistic with this one. I did go a little bit gung-ho with my score prediction of a 4-0 win over Burton. Obviously, that didn't pan out to be the case. It was nowhere near a 4-0 win. I'm going to go with a County 2-1 win. We lost 2-1 away. Hopefully, we can win 2-1 at home. I do want to see us obviously get a couple of goals. I want to see 3 points on the board. We've got to do that because I want to be in the playoffs come the end of the season. I think it'd be really, really difficult to see us drop out, having been in it for so much of the season. So yeah, that's my thoughts on County and Stevenage. As I say, we will be going live before the game, probably about an hour before the game. Obviously, we're going live straight after the full-time whistle as well, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. Do get your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Score prediction as well. Don't forget to like the video if you have enjoyed it. Do subscribe if you are new, and as always, thanks for watching.